Okay, let's set up our G-scale crossing system. We have two gates. These are the controller boxes. We have a bell with this, and we have one sensor. So we'll go through all of the steps. Here's the new controller. It's mounts by magnets on here. This fits on there, and then once we get all the wires in, put the little top on, and if we need to make changes, we can do that by taking the top off. Much easier than the first version. Actually, this is third or fourth generation of this setup. All right, there are two wires coming out of the gate. I have this little octopus looking thing here. This is power in, and these are going to be the power out, so quick connectors. This is from the transformer. We're sending that back to you. And here's the power for this one, and there's another one over here. So we're going to just do one gate at a time. Do one gate, one part of this at a time. Don't try to connect it all up and fire it up and, oh, it doesn't work. You'll never know. You'll never be able to figure out what's going on. Okay, so one thing to be mindful of all the time is to make sure this trim wheel, it has the white part exposed and not partially turned like this. That'll mess up your day. We're going to use that if we want to adjust the arm, but for the most part, most of the operations, you want it right centered, and you can just see it like that. One push button. And so what we do here is we'll start with this. We'll take the two wires from the gate, we'll feed them up through the block, and we'll feed them in here. Now there's a four pin and a 5 pin, 4 wires and 5 wires. The 5 wire will not go in the 4 pin, right? So always start with the bigger number pin and put it in first. That's this one here. This is the 5 pin on the bottom, okay? And then put the other one in just like this. So the 4 pin will go in the 4 pin. And that will keep you straight because the 5 pin can't go in the 4 pin, but the 4 pin pop can fit in the 5 pin. You got all that? All right, just do the big one first. So this will go on here, snap on here, and there's a little hook back here, a little wiring harness kind of thing, and we just feed that behind there and just pull the wires down gently, and we're all set to go. That keeps them out of the way so the top can go on. All right, nothing going on there. Then we're going to take this, the white wire, the black wire with the white plug goes up through, connects to the white terminal here. This is power, 12 volts. And there we go. And it has the other side wiring harness. Let's just get that through. We're not going to connect the detector. We'll do that at the end, all right? So when I power this up, it's already top dead center. That's how you'll get it. What's going to happen is the blue light is going to go on, it'll go off, and then it'll flash a bunch of times, and then the motor will start to make it to go to top dead center. If it's already a top dead center or it moves slightly, just a fraction of an inch off top center, you might see the lights flash as the motor moves the arm to top dead center. So let's fire it up. We just plug it in. And so there's the light, bunch of flashes, and you saw the gate flash. All right, so let's do this in manual mode. Let's test the gate. I'm going to push this twice. 1, 2 is the cadence. 1, 2. And the gate should go down. See, listen how quiet that is, all right? And to make the gate go back up, 2 more pushes. 1, 2. All right, and so that's all there is to it, okay? So that gate is working just fine, and we'll kind of slide this over to the other side. Oh, let's do the arm adjustment. Let's push the gate down in manual mode. This is the only place where you can really do this well. All right, the gate, we set it up so the gate was level. If you use the trim wheel and you push it to the left, the gate will go up. If you push it to the right, the gate will adjust down, and then you stop it by centering the trim pot, okay? So you can go back and forth. And once you've done that, it'll remember that position. So if we go back up, and then we're going to go back down, okay? And it should be right about the same spot. Okay, so now one of the things we're going to do, we're going to start it up, and I'm going to pull the power in the middle of that, okay? So if the power goes out or something goes funky, don't worry about it, because when you power back up, guess what? It's going to go through its startup sequence, and it's going to start the gate moving, and it'll go and set it to top dead center. Okay, let's look at the second gate. Well, here, so put the top on that. The second gate I've already wired up. We don't have the detector on here. We just have it wired the same way as gate number 1. And we're going to plug in the power, and we'll go through the sequence identical to the other one. And you'll see the gate move this time. And then stop, and that's tap dead center. And that's all it is to step number 1. So the next thing that we're going to do is connect up the sensor. But before that, we'll test the sensor separately. All right, so let's just slide these over. All right, here's the sensor. The sensor is on this side, so take the cover off and face the sensor towards you. And we have a power connector, so you don't have to worry about that, and the sensor wire. So when we turn this on, actually I'm going to turn it around so you can see the blue light go on. So I'm going to power up just by plugging it in, and the green light went on. And now if I put my hand in front of it, it will go off, will trigger, and we have it on a slightly about a 10-second delay. So after it triggers and I remove my hand, the light will stay on for 10 seconds. Now you can lengthen that by turning the right-hand trim pot. You can extend it up to 30 seconds or add another 30 seconds. So if you only have one detector and it's on the entrance, you'll want to give it some time, because after the caboose goes past the sensor, the train is still in the crossing. So you want to delay for however long it takes the train to get out of the crossing and further down. In the situation where you have two sensors, the second sensor that the train will hit on the way out will keep the gates down until both sensors are cleared. So if you want to add one sensor to do that automatically, or you can use the timeout. All right, so that's the way that is. And we're going to just, we just triggered it again. All right, and we have it on a range that's about 10 inches. So I'm going to aim this out into space, and I'm going to turn off the power. Well, let's do it this way. Let's turn off the power, the main power now. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this sensor to this little terminal block that we made up specifically for this. So the stage now is that we're going to have a sensor from the sensor to this block, and to here, and to here, and to the bell. All of those just get connected together. This is a simple way to do it. So I'm going to just go ahead and connect all those wires, and I'll show you what the result is in a minute. Okay, I've already connected this wire to this controller. It's in the bottom terminal, and I've just run it through the block. I've done the same over here. Whoops. I've done the same over here. It's on the bottom. There's a picture in the manual that shows that the detect is the farthest away from power, this bottom line. Here's the yellow wire, and we're just going to make it go up through and feed it through the block. Pretty simple. There we go. So now we have the detect from gate 1 and gate 2 controller, and we can just put those back on. And so now we're going to take the end of these two wires, the signal wires, and connect them to our detector. But we're only going to do them one at a time, all right? So we can test the gate. So we're going to put one of them in. Okay, and I'm going to power up everything. So the controller, I'll take this off so you can see, the controllers are going to go through their cycle, the gates flashed, and the detector. Now I'm going to run my hand in front of the detector, and it triggered gate number 1 to go down. Now there's a 5-second delay built in. Usually the bell will start immediately. So the sequence will be bell starts, and then 5 seconds later the gate will go down. You can make that a 10-second delay, or you can make that immediate. And that you set that by pushing this button here, and the number of times to push the button is listed in the manual. I'm not going to go into that now. So I take my hand off, and that delay that we built into the sensor will hold the gates down until the timeout on the sensor, and then the gate arm will go up. So going down, the controller controls the delay. Going up, the sensor controls the delay. All right, so the first gate worked off the sensor. So I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to plug in the second detector, And if you use this terminal block, great. If you have another way to do this, no problem. You're just connecting the yellow wires together. No current or anything. They're just connected like that. All right. So now let's turn on the power. Both the controllers will flash. The gates might flash. And now I'm going to put my hand in front of the sensor, and you can see 3, 4, 5.5, maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, and they're going to go down, and they will stay down as long as my hand is in front of the sensor. Once I move my hand from the sensor, the timeout on the detector goes, and as soon as it's finished, the gates will be released. All right. Okay, let's connect up the bell. So bell has power. We'll connect that in a minute. And a trigger wire. Let's turn off the power while we do this. We'll connect this to the same terminal block. Put it in there. Okay, all that's good. So I know it looks kind of messy in here, but really all we've got is all the yellow wires, all the signal wires, sensor wires connected together on this block. All right, so that's all there is to it. Pull it off to the side. I'm going to put my bell power connector, and I'm going to power up everything. The sensors are going to start up. The controllers are going to start up. The gates are going to start up, and we're ready to go. Okay. So this is the delay for the gates. All right, I'm going to take my hand away. The bell will continue because everything is triggered, timed off the sensor. And as soon as it's released, all the gates come back up. All right, so I'll do that one more time because that's fun. Okay. And there's a separate video on how to set the range for the sensor. I'm going to set it for about 10 inches. If you want to add to that or change it, that's great. Once you've finished with that, now when I slide this down, it's going to block the sensor temporarily, so that's going to trigger everything. You can turn off the power and then put this case down and then turn it back on. It won't affect it, but just drop that in. You see it triggered the gates. And it's going to go through one cycle, even if that trigger was momentarily. It stopped, because now what's going to happen is it timed out, and then the gates will just go right back up again. So that's the setup. Pretty simple. The only thing I needed was a little screwdriver, no soldering, a little connector here for the sensors. If you add a second detector, the same routine, you'll get another power source. We'll have to figure out how you can connect them. Nothing magical about this. If you want to change that, that's fine. We'll just add the other sensor there. Also, if you want to extend these, you can just cut this wire, and then you're on your own in terms of soldering new wires in there and connecting them. You don't need to worry about polarity on this. Yes, this is plus and minus, but each of the devices figures out what the polarity is on its own. So if you want to make this another 10 feet or so, go for it. Also, for the connection between the power and the other barrel plug, if you want it, you can buy on Amazon an extension, 20-foot extension to this. It doesn't have to be this, the power supply doesn't have to be this close. And likewise for all of these other things. These are standard connections you can get off of Amazon. All right, so that's the setup of the G-Scale gates.